And so here I am, 8 days on. I'll never get to see my dad again, living in the flesh here on this planet. I won't get to see him again. He only died at 63. He left many years of life on the table. But let me tell you the position of power that I find myself in. And this is one of the big lessons from today's show. Am I sad that my dad has died? Of course. I would be a sociopath if I wasn't sad. So of course I'm sad. That's normal. That's natural. Sadness will find its balance within your own mind with the passage of time. Totally normal. Everybody will pass through their phase of sadness. For some people, it will last longer than others. And I'm no different. Of course I'm sad that my dad has died. And the reason why I'm sad is because he was one of my best friends. So one of my best friends, one of my inner circle, who I've known ever since I've been conscious, has now passed away. Of course I'm sad. And that's normal. But you see, this is the thing, folks. Sadness is normal. And sadness, as I've said, it will find its place. It will find its balance in your own mind with the passage of time. That's fine. Do you know what won't find its balance with the passage of time? Do you know what will nag at you for the rest of your waking hours? If you have regret or guilt about what you should have done when that person was living, that you will not recover from. The sadness you will recover from with time. But you see, if you find yourself in a position where you are feeling regret about not having invested time and attention and conscious energy into someone that you cared about, and now suddenly they have died, you will have to live with the regret that you didn't invest appropriately when they were living. And that will not diminish with time. That will eat away at you for the rest of your waking hours. And that is why, folks, today's show is called No Regrets. Mattie Lennon can have no regrets about his life. He can have no regrets about the way in which he lived his life, and he can certainly have no regrets about the way in which he tackled the last 18 months since his big, ugly primary surgery right until his last breath. The man gave his absolute all, given his physical limitations, given his own personality limitations. We all have them. We all have limitations with our personality. We all have physical limitations. As I've already said, Mattie had a big, ugly surgery that he was very lucky to survive. And that, of course, had ramifications for his treatment. How could it not? Losing your entire colon, losing 54 lymph nodes, losing your appendix, losing all the tissue around your colon, losing a part of your small intestine. Of course, that is now going to present you with a physical limitation. And also, we have our personality limitations. So Mattie, with his physical limitations and his personality limitations, we all have them. Within that framework, Mattie can have no regrets. He gave his absolute best throughout the last 18 months and throughout his entire existence. He can look himself in the mirror and say, you know what? I tried. I tried my best. And on this occasion, my best wasn't good enough. And I lost the ultimate battle, which is the battle of life. But remember, there are no guarantees in life. So all you can do is control your controllables. And Mattie Lennon controlled his controllables as well as he could. He tried to leave no stone left unturned. And he unfortunately did not come out victorious in this particular battle. But it wasn't through lack of effort or trying. And there's a big difference, folks. If Mattie Lennon did not try, if he gave up, if he succumbed to all the negative feedback from the piece of shit oncologists that he was dealing with, and from all the unhelpful medical folks who he dealt with, if he had succumbed to all of this negativity, lack of hope, and coldness towards his circumstances, then he would be disappointed in himself. But you see, he's not. Mattie Lennon has no reason to be disappointed in himself. He gave his absolute best. And that's all anybody can ask for. That is a controllable that Mattie Lennon could control. And he controlled it as well as he could. And not only did Mattie control it, but this is applicable to all of us, to me and to you watching. We all have people. We have husbands, we have wives, we have children, we have friends in our life that we really care about. The universe, folks, offers you no guarantees. And if there's one thing that you take away from this show, is that you do not want to have regrets about any of your interactions with any of the people who you most care about in this life. And if you have been sloppy up until watching this show, if you've been sloppy and you haven't been giving your best to the people that you most care about, well, now is the time to start changing that habit. Take it from me and take it from anybody else who has lost a loved one. I lost my dad 8 days ago. But you see, folks, some people might say, anybody who has met me over the last 8 days is probably surprised. They are probably surprised because they expect to see me in tears. They expect to see me distraught. They expect to see me a crumpled mess on the floor. What were they greeted with? They were greeted with someone who has absolutely no regrets about the relationship that they had with their father and their friend. Am I sad that he's gone? Yes. Did I do everything possible within my control to save that man's life? Yes, I did. I investigated. That has been my life's purpose for the last 18 months. Researching and getting that man information to try and save his life, to try and do everything that I can or could. Why did I put so much effort into this process? For the very reason that I'm telling you all of this right now. I knew 18 months ago that there were no guarantees. And I know in general, there are no guarantees in life. And the only thing that I have full control over is my effort and my capacity to give my best. And so 18 months ago, when I got that phone call, when I was out in Spain, from my mother, that my dad is going in for emergency surgery. All right. Didn't see this coming. Caught me by surprise a little. I was out enjoying myself in Spain. I had just sealed a year-long contract to live out in Spain with my brother. We had our own aspirations and ambitions. But whenever we got the news, we both knew, okay, this is going to be a roller coaster. And my brother and I, my mother, Mattie's wife, we all knew that the most important thing that we could do is make sure that we give absolutely everything to Mattie to try and save his life. We give him absolutely everything. We do everything that we can to try and save this man's life and to try and enrich this man's life. And do you know why we did that? Do you know why I got rid of the contract? Lost some money in the process. Totally took a different path to the path that I was taking 18 months ago. Do you know why I did that? because of exactly what I'm telling you all right now. You want to be in a position where you have no regrets about anything in your life. Zero. You should be striving to have no regrets. How is it that you get yourself in a position where you have no regrets? It's very simple, folks. You give your absolute best to the things that you are doing and to the people that you most care about. And you see, when you do that, you let the dominoes fall wherever the dominoes are going to fall. Sometimes they fall in your favor, sometimes they don't. In the last 8 days, the dominoes did not fall in my favor. I lost my friend. I didn't want to lose him. But this is the thing. I didn't lose him through lack of effort on my behalf, and he certainly didn't lose his life through lack of effort on his behalf. Everyone, me, Mattie, my brother, Una, I can only speak for those 4 individuals. I can't speak for anybody else. But let's just say, when Mattie was assembling his team, I was there, my brother was there, and Mattie's wife, my mother. We were 3 integral parts of his team. And I'm not going to speak on behalf of anyone else, because I don't know intimately what everybody else was doing or thinking. But for those 3 people, me, my brother, and my mother, and I know Mattie as well, obviously, all 4 of us throughout this process, and more importantly, folks, prior to this process, prior to Mattie's diagnosis, we have always given each other, the 4 of us as a family, we've always given each other our absolute best. It's not as if 18 months ago we went, oh shit, we better start spending time with one another. Whoopsies, we have been very sloppy. No. The 4 of us, we have always never taken each other's time for granted. We've always given each other our absolute best. We've always met up. We've always spent time consciously, sincere, honest time, not with a phone, not distracted. We've always met up. We've always given our absolute best to one another. And I'm telling you this, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I know some of you dipshits out there are sloppy. And you take for granted what you have in this life. You don't realize that you are owed nothing from the universe. You don't realize that there are no guarantees in this life. You don't realize how complex your body is. You don't realize how chaotic and disorderly the universe is. You don't realize that the universe is constantly trying to take from you, trying to transform your energy and transfer it elsewhere. You don't realize that entropy is at play all of the time because you are on autopilot and you're a dipshit and you're not paying attention. Will reality check to you, Mr. or Miss whoever. You have no guarantees in this life. And there are many things that are fully out of your control. There are many uncontrollables that you have no influence over. And so things that you may think aren't going to happen in life may well happen. Good or bad. And for you watching this, what you want to take away from part 1, this episode, is that you want to get yourself in a position of power in your life when it comes to a situation like this. How do you get into a position of power in your life when it comes to what it is that you're doing or the people that you most care about? How do you get into a position of power? You have no regrets. How do you get into a position where you have no regrets? You give your absolute best and your best effort throughout every moment of your life to towards the things that you're doing and towards the people you most care about. And when you give your best, you will find yourself in my position right now. 8 days ago, my dad died. My friend passed on. Am I sad? Yes. However, am I guilty, and do I have regrets about having not spent enough time with him? Am I guilty, and do I have regrets about having not invested sincere attention, paid attention when he was speaking, took time to go and travel with him, ask him questions about the things that he's interested in, try and be valuable and useful to him? Am I guilty or regretful about any of that? Absolutely not. And this is why I sit before you right now on a live stream. I'm not welling up with tears. I haven't cried yet throughout this process. And that's not to boast. That's not a boastful comment, because everybody has their own personalities. Some people are more emotional than other people. And I'm not saying that there's any problem with crying. But if your tears come from a place of guilt and regret, then you will have to live with that for the rest of your life. If your tears are coming from sadness, that's fine. As I've already said, the sadness will find its place in your mind with the passage of time. You will have the beautiful memories of the person that you most cared about. You will have little mementos about their existence. The sadness will deal with itself. It'll find its own place in your mind with time. But if you are shedding tears because you are regretful about having not invested in your dad, in your mother, in your friends, in your brothers, in your sisters, if your tears come from guilt and regret, well then this should be a wake-up call for you. Because if your tears are coming from regret or guilt, you are not in a position of power. And if you aren't in a position of power, that means you haven't been controlling the controllables. What is the ultimate controllable that you have full control and influence over? Your effort and your capacity to give your best effort in every waking hour of your life.